Hi, my name's Maddie, and this is Luke, Marina, Ian, and Madison, and we're Team Genzink Steel. While we've been working with the company for the past few weeks, we've noticed that they have a really strong family atmosphere, so we came up with our little slogan, more than a factory, it's a family.
For those of you not familiar with the company, we'll give a brief history. The company started in 1961 by Don Genzink. It was just one man and one welding truck. From there, the company grew. They started supplying structural steel to local clients. However, the big change came in 2008 when they moved away from structural steel and began filling custom fabrication orders worldwide. This covers parts for oil rigs that go underwater to mining carts. They're really great things. The thing is, Genzink Steel's problem isn't that they don't have enough work, it's that they have too much work for their current employees to handle.
Keeping this problem in mind, we were presented with our driving question: how do we attract a younger generation of employees? We decided to look into this younger generation, which is the millennial generation.
Our generation, the millennial generation, is also known as the civic-minded generation, and 84% of millennials say that civic recognition is more important to them than a professional recognition.
Keeping the millennial generation in mind, we started looking into what motivates that generation, what drives them to get things done. So we looked at a video which was backed by multiple prestigious universities, such as Carnegie Mellon, and we looked at those 5 key factors for motivation, which are autonomy, purpose, mastery, a challenge, and a chance to contribute. We discovered that money is not always the best motivator. So we actually noticed while interviewing employees all throughout Genzink that some of them were referencing these key pieces without even realizing it. While interviewing the fabrication manager, he was talking about how when he originally arrived at the company, he saw all the fantastic things that Genzink was building, and he had that sense of autonomy and purpose and really wanted to get in there and start doing those things himself. So he had a chance to really master his welding skills and start working throughout the company and challenging himself by creating some of the designs himself and began to contribute back into the company, which started that whole cycle over again. Yeah. So keeping all of these key motivators in mind, we created a 3-part solution for Genzink's problem.
The first part of our solution is connecting the community. Millennials are 247% more likely to be influenced by social media than any other generation. So we looked at the Facebook and Twitter that the company already has, and we thought that they could amp it up a little by adding an Instagram as well. They can post about things that Genzink is doing with the community as well as schools and exciting new projects that they're working on. A good incentive to gain followers and friends on these social medias is through offering incentives to, like the 25th like, for example, they can win a gift card somewhere. Another problem that Genzink has is that if employees are leaving, a lot of the times it's because that they can't make the commute to Genzink every day. So our good solution for that would be bringing the people to the community. An association that does that is Hello West Michigan. We interviewed both people from Gentex as well as Hayworth, and they're both part of this Hello West Michigan. Not only does Hello West Michigan advertise the jobs in the area, but also advertises the area as a whole.
The second part of our 3-part solution is entitled Impacting Education. This part of the solution focuses in on K-12 education and post-secondary education. In order to add more to the post-secondary education, we would like to increase Genzink's internship and co-op program. In order to do this, we would especially like to incorporate GVSU's STEM co-op program and GRCC's AMP program. This would allow students to work at Genzink and at the colleges so that they could earn either a bachelor's or associate's degree, depending on the program. Then, after they graduate, they would be more likely to work at Genzink because of the family atmosphere they would have felt there. Another way that we think Genzink could expand is by sponsoring FIRST robotics teams and Science Olympiad. This would allow students to come to Genzink, and I'm on a FIRST robotics team, and I work in a metal shop on that team, and so sometimes their sponsoring companies hand out applications to the students so that we can work at their manufacturing plants because we already have a foot in the door in that type of manufacturing. And so this would allow Genzink to have an influx of high school employees along with the college graduates.
Continue with impact education. We like to encourage Genzink to let themselves be known as a financial resources for teachers that could cross their curriculum with what Genzink does every single day. An example of this would be a pyramid or some of the stuff we have here and the tangrams that you used while we were setting up. These things can be used to cross over to geometry, math, spatial reasoning, all these different kinds of things that Genzink does every single day. Well, we thought about this, elementary programs. We want to start young. We want to get kids involved and share and shed a new light on manufacturing and fabrication. We have here a molecule and a car. We have a pyramid. All these can be used in different ranges. We like to think of high schoolers being told that college is the only way to go. Well, we like to beg a differ. We think that Genzink should go in, talk to these students, and tell them that manufacturing and fabrication is a way that of revolving a rewarding career and not only just a job that they can offer. In 2010, 48.1% of all students that graduated in Michigan did not go to college the following year, and we want to talk to those kids specifically. We talked about lunchtime visits that like military come in and they talk to the students, get them excited, play games, win rewards. Well, Genzink can do the same thing. We have games that we put in the handbook that we developed for Genzink, and Ian will continue that with our Candelier.
All right, so at these lunchtime visits, we'll have a special competition with this game called Candelier. In order to play this game, you stack one can, then a plate, then two cans, and continue on up until you get to the 6th tier. And this is very difficult to play, and at these lunchtime visits, there will be a competition, and the top 5 students from each school at a different time will come together at Genzink and have this competition. And as they're fabricating these candeliers, they'll also be able to see the fabrication going on in Genzink's plant, so they can connect these two. And the winners of the candelier competition at Genzink would also win prizes like Michigan Adventure tickets and gift cards.
So our third and final part of our three-part solution is redefining the neighborhood, which involves community involvement. And we believe this is important for Genzink because it will not only help them get their name out into the community, but it will also help right within the walls of the company. A Harvard study actually showed that 87% of companies who became more involved in the community had an increase of the morale of the workers within the company, which in turn increased sales and publicity outside of the company. So it's sort of like a win-win situation. We think that Genzink, to become more involved in the community, could sponsor a Little League team, and they could even take this a step further and expand that family atmosphere and host family picnics. Just imagine the Little League season is winding down, and of course the Genzink Steel Little League team has done fantastic, or not, but of course they were adorable the whole time. And why not celebrate that? You've got little kids running around with their Genzink Steel t-shirts on, you've got everyone eating Genzink Steel cake, Genzink Steel balloons are flying from every picnic table. Overall, this would be a great way to reach those kids and those parents to show them that manufacturing and fabrication is not an alternative to college, but an actual viable career path.
Another way to dive into the community is through sculptures, and we want to do this in a way that's never been done before. For example, Genzink Steel could accept sculpture designs from the community and choose to bring one of these sculptures to life on the floor. From there, when it's completed, they can work with the City of Holland to put this sculpture in an area like Holland Park, anywhere downtown, or other public areas. They can also host their own art sculpture competition, which we've named the Genaissance. From there, people from the community can submit their own art sculpture designs, and Genzink Steel will choose the best ones and award prizes accordingly. They can even take this a step further by, if the artist chooses, sponsoring the winning sculpture into Art Prize. This gives the company great publicity and shows that they're not only invested in the community, but they're involved as well. As we said, Genzink Steel is all about family. Manufacturing isn't just a dirty job that is undesirable. It's a very viable option that utilizes a worker's skills and makes them feel valued. Genzink Steel can no longer afford to wait for the community to come to them. The company now must go into the community. We think that the use of social media, being involved with schools, and going into the community are great ways to draw a younger generation of workers to this company. Thank you.
So judges, what questions do you have for Team Genzink Steel?
I really, really love the fact that you guys started with what we call in higher education, I work at Grand Valley, building the pipeline program, right? You started with looking at elementary school kids and getting them interested. I think that's a great thing. Yeah, one of my questions for you is, you know, we've got a lot of millennials out there right now, folks that are just graduating high school, and I'm wondering if you looked at what their current perceptions are of working in a manufacturing environment, as to whether or not they're drawn to it or not.
We actually did. Each of us kind of interviewed about 2 people that we know we're all about juniors and seniors, that some people that we know that have graduated or are in college right now, and their perception of manufacturing, I think that was your question,
Mhm.
correct? Well, it's more along the lines of just assembly lines and the day after day, same thing, but that's kind of the stereotype we're getting away from, because Genzink is making new things every single day, even if it's a quarter of an inch off as the last time they made things.
Another thing along with that is that when we were interviewing those kids, a lot of people were saying, for example, some of the people that Luke talked to, it's a dirty environment, it's somewhere you go and you don't get to go to college. But, what we've been looking at with Genzink is that it's actually a really strong career path, and a lot of the people who are working there really love it. And we actually got to tour the plant, and it's not this dirty, gross environment. It's actually really clean, and it was actually really amazing to get to go through and see some of the things that they do.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
It's obviously steel,
Yes.
and it's fabrication. I thought you did a great job of talking about a very pivotal point in their history, from steel supplier to steel fabrication, and the fact that they've got more work than they know how to handle it right now. Do you talk about it in using the welding? Do you ever talk about when in the fabrication of the use of that skill? I mean, in terms of equating it to income and need or demand, does that have appeal in the millennial side of it?
I guess I don't understand the question.
Well, it's like this skill set. When you look at that fabrication, that is a massive challenge to weld those joints perfectly and to make a huge piece that, but it takes incredible skills of welding. So is that attractive?
Yeah, well, for example, I know that a lot of kids, I go to the tech center, the Career Line Tech Center, and there are tons of kids who absolutely love welding, and we actually have welding courses and manufacturing courses,
Right.
so that we actually are thinking, for example, when Ian was talking about going into colleges and area high schools, we could target those kids who are already interested in welding, as well as the kids who are not quite sure about it, but by getting into those kids who are already interested, because we know they're already there, and they've already got that basic knowledge. And Genzink has actually told us that once they've got them there, they will teach them how to do the rest of it, all those specific things about bringing that whole piece together.
They can completely certify them right there.
They have certification programs within the company.
They do.
Yes.
And going off that, like if you look back in like the beginning of our presentation, the 5 key motivation things, like mastery and a challenge are like some of the motivating things. So like when you get there and it's really hard, like that's something that like our generation loves. And so like when we get there and we see that challenge, you just want to dive right in and do it. And then once you get really good at it, it's just really fun because it's something that not everyone can do, but you've mastered it and you're able to do it. And it completes also that sense of purpose that you have and you feel deep.
Because one of the misconceptions, sorry, were you going to say something?
No, I just wanted to say a very good answer.
Because some of the misconceptions about manufacturing are, I'm just going to be doing what a machine's doing. I'm not of value to this company. But by raising the publicity about what this company is about, we can show that, this is a high field of skills, and you are very valued here.
So what's the company saying to you in terms of this Renaissance idea? Are they for it? Are they going to do this thing?
They were, we didn't actually talk to them about whether they were definitely going to do it or not, but they did, when we presented to them yesterday, they did seem to like it a lot. They thought that was really cool. And as we were walking around the company afterward, go and get a drink, we heard, a couple people off their offices going, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I never would have thought of that, So it's kind of cool to see that we actually made that impact within the company, so.
Cool.
And also like for the candelier competition, like when we were done, we were talking to them and we weren't sure where we were going to do it, whether it was going to be at a local school or at the OISD building or at Genzink. Like we weren't sure about that. And Genzink actually told us like, oh yeah, you should do it here because then we could show them around, and we really like that idea because then it gets more people to see what we're doing and how it's actually a fun thing to do. So they really bought onto the ideas.
Yeah, John Maxon actually came back in after we were done presenting. He was like, I was just about to go on the road, but I came back because I had this idea. And You know, he said, he came back in and he was like, I know you said that you already got it okay to do at the ISD building, but, you know, if that's what it takes, like, you can have them all come here, and what we'll do is we'll shut down the whole factory, we'll have everybody come out, and we'll actually take them through the factory to show them what we do. And one of the cool things that I liked about that was that he said that, for example, they'll have days where they actually do shut down the whole factory, they'll have the whole company bring their families and do like a family picnic. And he said they'll actually take all the little kids through, they'll stamp out, they'll cut out little steel pieces like of pictures of moose or something like that, and the little kids will go and paint them, and then they'll have them dry, and those kids can take them home with them.
It's very cool.
Awesome. All right, so let's give it up for Genzink.